Okay, now we're going to take a look at the verse progression. This progression is a little more minimal than the intro riff, although the intro riff does kick in again in the second half of the verse, and it's going to be pretty much the same riff that we've been looking at. So what I'm going to do now is play through the first part of the verse riff for you, and then we break it down. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now this riff is actually quite hard because in points we have to kind of keep the rhythm going by going between the thumb and the fingers, and some of the notes are more audible than others. So a lot of the time you've really got to trust, a little bit of feel and a little bit of, sort of own instinct as well. We start off by playing the 5th fret of the D, and then play the open D and G, and then 2 mutes. Okay, so it's just like so. Then we play the open D and G again. Little rhythm there, 1, 2, and 3, and then we play open D and G to the 3rd fret D and G. So it's going 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, one more time. Okay, next part, start off with a mute, followed by open D and G, and then 3rd fret D and G to open D and G. Then slide up our B flat 5 power chord from 1st fret A and 3rd fret D up a whole tone. Restrike, and then play 3rd fret D and G to open. Start off with an open D, the next section, and then so that's the first beat is the open D, 1, and then we play 2 and on the open D and G, 2 and then we play 3 and 4 and, which is basically going between the D and then the open D and G. So you're going that kind of thing. So putting it together, you get 1. Okay, very, very rhythmical and quite percussive as well. The next bar, same kind of thing again. And then we play 3 on the D string to 3 on the G string, and then 5 on the A and 5 on the D. So you get. Okay, so here's the riff for the first part of the verse played nice and slowly. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're going to go into our original riff, which again might have some very slight variations to it, but I'm just going to play it through for you just to give you an idea of how it should sound. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, one tiny little lick for us to look at, which was actually in the final bar. We played 3 on the G string and then pulled off between 2 to open on the G string, then play 3 on the D, followed by open D and G. Other than that, that riff was pretty much the same as what we've seen. I'm going to play it nice and slowly for you now. Just pay attention to that final bar with that little figure. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, as I've mentioned earlier on in this tutorial, if I was playing this live in a band, I really wouldn't, worry too much about copying every single verse absolutely note for note, because it will probably take you, 6 months to nail one song. And I feel sure that when, Mark Knopfler plays this track live, well, I know for definite, in fact, that it varies every single time. Even live, he puts in, extra licks and stuff. So as long as you're playing within, that ballpark of that riff, then it should sound pretty authentic.